We're live.
6 o'clock, and call this meeting to order. Any public comment on items under jurisdiction of the board not on the agenda? Approval of minutes. Everybody, did you look at the minutes? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the August 12th minutes, but someone else will have to do September.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? September.
I vote to approve September 9, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Board position openings.
So we have 2 board members going off at the end of the year, Eric and Doug. Are you guys, if you guys want to sign this piece of paper saying you're going to go ahead and do this again, you'll have to have a letter of inquiry, I guess, to be back on the board. It is a 3-year term, both of them. Due to the fact that when we started this, we had to set the staggered schedule up. So now every time somebody comes up, it goes back to a 3-year term. I appreciate what you guys have done. If you don't want to do it, I understand. I would encourage you to do it. I think we are doing some good things with what we have worked with. And hopefully you guys would like to stay on.
Well, actually, jointly, we're here to...
I think the feed's going out.
discuss the terms of your surrender.
Well, I'm done.
I'll gladly stay on. I mean, with that said, if there's a tremendous amount of interest in someone else wanting this position, I'll gladly step aside, but if there isn't, I would like to stay on.
Can you just email me a letter of interest?
Yep.
It just has to be 1 line. I am interested in staying on. Like
Okay.
that works. Send an email to me.
Copy paste.
That was too easy. We discussed this.
Yeah, you guys are brothers in arms.
We
Remember
discussed
that, right?
maybe talking about a different like maybe a month to month,
Yeah.
something like that.
Month to month lease.
I'll second that motion. I'll stay. I'll send you a letter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
I appreciate it. I think we have,
Thank you too for putting your heads together.
they're stepbrothers, I think.
We like to interview as a team.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that we're definitely on the right track with the solid waste right now. And I would like to see this through to get it completely turned around to where it's sustainable and not, for lack of a better word, don't use profitable, but sustainable. Everything's turning in the right direction right now, so we should be able to do that.
Where are we at on, we get any more collections from,
So that's
Next
the
item.
next item.
that's next, okay.
We're writing the quick tips.
That's all right. I don't mind.
We need to separate them.
I think we need to put one of them in a corner.
You gonna tell me to put my nose in the corner now?
Reminds me a lot of the night at the Roxbury. Update on the ERP.
So I'll give you part of it and I'll let Misty finish. The letters went out, I think, September 17th. You know, when we sent the first letter out, there was a lot of pushback on it. What we've the dialogue that we've received this time has been actually very positive. I think that most of the people are understanding what happened and why it happened. Some of them just threw the thing in the garbage. We're collecting this till December 31st. Do I think that we will get 50%? Absolutely not. Whatever we get right now is what we're going to get. But the feedback from the people has been very positive. The first time was so negative, it was very hard to go into the office and deal with that. This time it's been actually fantastic from the public. There's still the 1 or 2 percenters out there that are going to fight the grief, but I don't know the exact number. Misty can give you a ballpark of where we're at, but like I said, it's been very positive. A lot of people said that they'll be in when they're back in Montana and whatever, so we're good with that.
And that's, you're only running the collection till the end of the year?
We're cutting our losses. At that point, we have to get it off the books somehow.
So the people that are paying when they come back is going to be after the year though, correct?
At that point, you can't just add that to the next year's assessment without. No.
We have this governing body that's over us that said no.
We talked about, at one point, we talked about publishing the names.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but it's in the minutes.
It wasn't just me.
I realize that. You know, there was another option that we talked about of putting a lien on the property. We had that option. Living in this community, I don't know if that's the best option to do.
So the newspaper.
I don't disagree with the public shaming.
How much is a full page ad in the newspaper?
I don't know. Do you need a list?
They should run it as a public service
But
announcement.
Exactly.
Even if you put a lien
There you
on their
go.
property, you're not gonna see that until they sold it someday, and
Yep.
who's gonna carry it on the books that long?
No, nobody is.
We just need to get it cleaned.
Yeah, it's might as well
We've got to just
flush
get it cleaned
and move
up and move forward.
Yeah, as far as what we've collected, we're somewhere around 4,500 right now. I have had a few phone calls from some businesses that have asked some questions, and they are sending a check. I wouldn't be surprised if we got to close to 10 of that, but
Of the
What's-
103 left?
yeah.
I don't know if that number was accurate. I think it was a little under 100.
Yeah.
And there was some properties on there that were wrongly assessed to begin with. That has been brought to our attention as well. A lot out on Toston, in Toston. What is that? Missouri. What is that, TJ?
Missouri River Grain.
Yeah, where those houses were assessed as 2, and they're really just one individual resident. And there were probably 10 houses out there like that. So, you know, that cuts down. And so.
I don't mean to beat the point up, but has this been discussed with the attorneys at all? It has, and they.
Yeah, quite a while ago, we talked about, could we put a lien on, we didn't even know if that was a possibility. Yeah, we could, but it's just a bad look.
Yeah, you're almost better just to get what you get.
We've already exceeded what we were expecting.
Yeah.
I think if we were to get 60, I think Commissioner Folkford at the time said 60%, which he wasn't far off. I was going to be happy with 33%. And we surpassed that really quick.
What was it, about 200?
It was 251 to start with,
51? Yeah.
We're down to what's left.
just under 100,000.
Of that list of people that haven't paid the back, are they paying current now? Are they current? They just haven't paid back, or are they both? I mean, what I'm getting at is,
So the people that owe us money,
yeah,
they do not have a decal.
But it is on there. It
It is
has
on their
been put
taxes.
on their taxes, yes,
They will be paying currently,
yes.
but as of right now, they do not have a decal.
Oh, so they're not, okay.
So after the first year, they'll get,
I'm
they
curious what
can't-
the heck they're doing to
You
dump
can't
trash.
escape it now.
So,
sending it with other people.
yeah, sending it to other people, going in the alleys, throwing in the big 300 gallons. Joe can attest to this. My site attendant's can attest to this. They'll get turned away, and then they'll see them drive down the alley. So we've got an issue with the city that we're going to have to deal with here too, moving forward, because it doesn't fix the problem. It just masks the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there's gotta be a clear division there.
Yep.
It's kind of an easy out for everybody.
So you're thinking, Misty, that right now there's another pretty positive 4,500?
I know that there's been estimated 4,500 deposited. I know of 2 businesses that I've talked to in the last week that have asked questions, and they're between 1,000 and 1,800, so they're bigger, you know. So we'll see if we get those. They said that they're going to. We'll see.
What are the chances of us getting an updated list on the December?
Yeah, I can work on that.
Is this for MT43?
What's that? Yeah, yes. Any other further discussion on that? Update on Lakeside Distillery recycling program.
So, Lakeside Distillery, as you guys know, want to do this UL zero waste thing. He was actually one of the. This company was one of the back due guys, and when I talked to him on the phone, I'm not opposed to the UL. I mean, your waste is pretty minimal at that point. I said, I'm not willing to sign off on it until you're current. He was out of the country, came in as soon as he got back. He is current. It looks like April, he'll be ready to do a walkthrough and show, he has to prove it to the state and the feds, the UL of the zero waste. Once that's approved, I don't see us refusing it. If he's not producing, shouldn't be getting charged. His biggest hang up at that point was getting rid of the glass. He has figured out how to do that now. And he actually is, he's moving forward in the right direction. I wish more businesses would. It would cut down on our tonnage, but it would also cut down on our trips to Helena too.
Yep.
Right now, I think he told us that he was generating about 15 pounds a month, I think is what he told us,
Yeah.
which is pretty minimal.
Yep. Yep. And being that he's a weekend operated business on top of the
With
UL.
minimal hours.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So do we need a motion on that?
No.
No, not until, so we don't have any decisions tonight. Everything's just discussion. Once he gets this done, hopefully in April, at that meeting, we will have to have that conversation.
Okay.
And he is currently current?
He is current. He come in and paid it back. He was really good about it, so.
So he's supposed to get the certification from the feds or the
Yep.
state by April.
Yep, that's when he's expecting it. He said he's got a few more hoops to jump through, but he anticipates being ready to go in April.
Okay.
Does he have a year, is that a yearly
Yeah.
then?
So that'd take him through July to June 30th. So the next assessment, he would not have one.
Absolutely. Any more discussion on the Lakeside Distillery?
What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I agree with that.
I
If
agree.
he's zero waste,
Yeah,
it's not fair to make him pay.
Right.
And I mean, if he was coming close to a one assessment, then that'd be a different story. But
Right.
I don't think he's gonna come to that. So one is,
I don't know if he'd make a quarter of an assessment.
yeah.
yep. Yep. Well, and he's doing it the right way too. It's not just out of his mouth. It's,
Right.
Well, he's jumping through hoops to
yep.
get that certification.
He
You
said
gotta
it's
give him
not
something.
easy.
Yeah.
He said it's a lot of work to do it.
Yeah,
I bet.
Apparently in Europe, this is kind of a big thing,
really.
and this is where he's patterned it after.
Mm-hmm. We had a good conversation with him when he came into the office.
Yeah.
Cool.
Has there been any pushback on the new assessment list? We had any pushbacks from other businesses?
No,
Not yet.
not yet. Maybe the floral shop.
Okay, funny guy.
all organic waste.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly. It's just flowers.
Yeah. Update on disabled veterans relief application.
We had one applicant, was not in our district. So that went nowhere. I don't know if it is because people weren't watching the paper, watching the solid waste meetings, or what. But we did have one inquiry, and he was in Three Forks, so that went nowhere. And no, we don't do 60%.
I was gonna say you'd have a lot more participants if you lower the threshold.
60.1.
49 and a half.
Okay.
Discussion on canister purchase.
So right now, we've got several 40-yard cans that are needing to be looked at, to get rid of, to get new cans in here. That's going to kind of lead into our next one as well. New cans without lids are $12,000.
How much?
$12,000. The lid, I don't know, Joe, do you know what the lid is? I think it's probably another $4.
4 or 5, yeah.
The shipping from North Dakota is going to be a hard part because you're not going to be able to stack those like you could, like a 20 and a 40 and stuff like that.
2 out at a time.
Yep.
And you need a lid on them anyhow, don't you?
Have to have a lid on them, period.
Yeah.
The last time that we kind of kicked this idea around, I thought maybe give it to the high school as a project. They had made some before. They were a little lighter when they did them. The cost of materials, just the cost of materials, was counterproductive to doing it. It was going to be a great project for the kids because they had to draw the plans. We would give them the set of plans. They'd have to do everything. We would buy the metal. It's a great project in the January to May. I thought, man, this would be cool. These kids could actually see this. Something that they did for the county being used here. it doesn't make sense financially.
What was how much more was it?
About $500. There's some cans around, older cans. There was some in Bozeman 6 months ago, 5 months ago, gone. But if you're buying used on a product like this, you're buying somebody else's problem.
Yeah, you're better off just to fix the ones we have. Wouldn't you be?
The problem with fixing what we have is they're beyond repair. The grass, the trees take a toll on them. If you look down there, those get cycled out to the grass and tree when they get bad. And I don't see where it would help us to try to, I mean, yeah, there's some of them definitely that you can fix, but you have to have something going back out. Right now, I think it's probably slowed down for him now, but our revenue from our long terms and short terms was pretty high.
I only have one can available right now still.
Typically, you're 2 weeks out, typically, to get a can.
Well, the contractors have had it just taken up. I mean, I've got guys renting them now for 2 or 3 months at a time because they're just keeping them because they don't know if they can get them back.
They're great generators for income.
So they're going to pay for
cylinders.
themselves.
They're going to pay for themselves. It's just that upfront cost. With us buying an excavator, a truck, a trailer, we've got to get some of this debt paid down. Is it in the works 100%? This was put on here because we need to start considering this and acting upon it before you're looking at 15,000. Do I think that we can make it for a while? Yeah, but I don't want to wait a year.
How many do you need?
This is a question for Joe.
In all reality, we've probably got 6 of them that are not serviceable.
Can you come to the microphone for the conversation? Sorry. Thank you.
Joe Rath, RATH. We've probably got about 6 canisters that aren't going to be serviceable here in the next 6 months to a year. The majority of these canisters came with the program when they started doing this, so they're old. The biggest problem we have is the lift structure on the front of them has been welded together so many times. The actual pin where the hook truck hits it is, 2.5 inches, 3 inches around, and there's about 1.5 inches left on most of them. The A-frame's cracked out at the bottom, down the sides. The sides are bowed out from packing them at Cedar Street over the years.
They have been gusseted, though. They did gusset a lot of these.
The biggest problem we have now is they're so bowed out, they're football shaped, and the bottoms are like this. So in the winter, the building's too short to stand the cans up as high as they can go. So you got to bang on the truck. It's hard on the lift system on the truck, and I don't want to do it with this new truck. Putting the excavator in there to dig them out is extremely problematic for the excavator in itself. The hydraulic line's hanging off of it. You bang off the lids and the hinges and knock the screens out of the top of them. And it's coming into winter. It's that time of the year where we can dump a can usually in 5 minutes. It takes us 25 minutes to half an hour to dig them out. Set them on the ground. Some of them we had to shovel out by hand. We've got them all pretty cleaned out, getting ready to go into winter, but stuff wedges in them. Carcasses are bad this time of the year. If they're the first thing that hits the cans, the meat just freezes right to the bottom of the can instantly. And the garbage itself just creates heat, so it freezes in there. And then when they're all dished out in the bottom, they just sit with water in them. So they become a sheet of ice, and everything that gets hot thrown into them. So that's the problem we're running into those. A lot of the hinges are wearing out on the doors. A lot of the rollers are seizing up on the bottom. It's just, it's to the point where we've fixed them as many times as we're going to fix. But I would say we're a half a dozen of them that we're going to be in need of replacing.
So how many of those, Joe, will be put into service at the dump, and how many will generate money?
This is purely just replacing our transfer cans right now.
But could we use those to rent out?
I typically don't rent out a lot of 40-yard cans. Our 30-yard cans and our 20-yard cans are our money makers. Right now, we have 11 of those out on permanent rentals. I have 3 of them that are rotational that we rent out. We call a short-term rent when people just call and want to clean out their house or something like that. The can that TJ was referring to that the high schoolers built, we call it our light-duty can. You can't load it with equipment. If you want to hand stack stuff in it, I typically take that out to people that want to get rid of furniture. If they're cleaning out a house, they hand load it. You can lean on it and push the sides in. It's very light. We have one business in town that rents it probably every 2 or 3 months. That can has generated a lot of revenue for what it cost us. Our 30-yard cans make us a fair amount of revenue. If those would have been put into use with what they were bought for, which was to generate revenue instead of creating all the walk-in sites, they'd have paid for themselves long ago, and we'd have even more money to buy cans with it now. But they sat with cardboard in them. It's rusted the bottoms out of them, and that's kind of where we're at.
How much are we renting the cans for a month?
Off the top of my head, I think the 20-yarders are $265. That's just short term. Our long-term rentals are
365 is our 30.
Yeah, so
I think it's like 285 or 295 for 20.
And then it's $435 for a 40-yard, and that's
Yeah.
just a one-time rental. Like if you called and wanted it, that's what it would rent to you. Our long-term program is different, and those are all 30 yards and 20 yards, and they go by weight, delivery mileage, and a set monthly fee.
Which is $125 there.
So the cans that we got to replace, we're just gonna have to throw them away?
They're scrap metal, most of them.
What'd you say the new ones were costing with the lids?
Without lids, they're 12,000.
And with lid, about 18 or 15?
17,000.
Yeah,
17.
17.
Any of the lids salvageable?
Not really. The problem we had with the lids was when I got there, they still had the teeth on the bucket and on the backhoe at Cedar Street. And when they were going to pack them, they were running the teeth down the sides. They'd pick them up, the knuckles, the hook on the back of the bucket would catch the screens, rip the screens out, and it bends all the top out of them, blows all the expanded metal off. You're probably looking at least $1,000 just to replace the screening on the top of them by the time you get somebody that can weld, fabricate, cut that kind of stuff, and just the cost of the expanded metal itself.
Have you retrained these people?
I cut the teeth off the backhoe, and we've kind of limited it to about one person that can run the backhoe. So,
If you were to order 6 of them today, how long would it take to get them?
that I don't know.
I talked to Scott yesterday, I believe, and I think I could have them by the end of January. He's aware of our situation. This is at Olympus Sales in Fargo. That's where everything came from to begin with. There is some available right now, but the ones that are available don't have lids.
So do they have any kind of payment terms? Or do you have to just cough up the money?
Yeah, pay it,
Pay it?
pretty much.
So we've actually rotated some of our better cans into Cedar Street. We have 2 that are sitting in the lot in the corner that are our 2 worst cans that have holes punched in them. The sides are rusted out, the bottoms are rusted out. I have sent them out on rentals, letting people know what they are getting in advance, and if they don't want something that looks like we drug it up to the bottom of the ocean sitting in front of their house, that they'll have to wait for something else. We've typically been using those now as we refer to them as our set-aside cans. On Monday, we develop such a volume of garbage on Mondays that the Friday before we have to set the 2 cans aside at Cedar Street that are the fullest, because we have to have an empty trailer over the weekend. Switching trailers is problematic. Leaving the garbage outside in a loaded trailer, it will freeze in there in that live bottom floor, and then we have a giant problem. So we have to have it empty for the weekend guy. The contractors and stuff on the weekends, we've been about filling the trailer up by Monday morning. So then on Monday, we have our set-aside cans that we rotated in and out of Cedar Street, which we're using those 2 old cans for, but we try not to do that very much, but it's kind of a standby thing, so.
If it's hard to get cans for long-term rentals, why couldn't we take the 40-footers and use those for the long-term rental?
They have to be able to walk out and put the garbage in them. We're talking about, like, I'm talking, our long-terms are like the ones behind Town Pump, Rocky Mountain,
Shorter
stuff like
side.
that. So they gotta be able to walk out and throw the garbage in them.
Tall.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are almost even. I'm 6 foot, and those are a lot for me to throw garbage in, to get it over the top. If it's just it's a small bag, or something, but.
Get the kids to build a set of stairs up to the top of the can.
And a handrail so we don't get sued when somebody falls
Yeah.
off.
Be a good project.
Essentially, we need 102,000.
So we can't squeeze enough out to buy 2 of them? And then maybe 6 months buy some more? Or how's your finances so that, it sounds like those are just about as important as the truck and that carries them. You gotta have the.
It is, but there's things that we need to look at as well. I don't disagree with you. We might be able to do something like that. But with that being said, you said it's as valuable as the truck. The goal is to get another hook truck. Or not another hook truck, sorry, another tractor, another pull truck. When that truck leaves full, that garbage doesn't sit on the floor. That another truck pulls in underneath of it. If that thing fills up by, say, 10, 11 o'clock, that truck's leaving again. The next truck is leaving again. That's my goal, to get it set up that way. We've got a lot of things on our plate. Our transfer station is, I don't know if there's been any updates to it since 1993. If you go up and look at the bridge where the excavator sits, part of the reason we went with a smaller excavator was to get the weight off the bridge. The excavator they had there, it served its purpose. It doesn't owe us a dime, right? But it was too damn heavy for the bridge. Joe can attest to everything underneath where the concrete is shifting. The floor on the transfer station, there's rebar shown on it where they push into the trailer. A new transfer station, and if I'm still here, it will not be up there. It'll be at Cedar Street, and it's going to cost you a bare minimum $4 to $5 million. The whole outlook of this, the whole footprint of this will look different. We're going to load the trucks. We're not going to load the cans. Those will be used to generate income. Yes, will there be some cans out? Possibly.
We'll still have our transfer sites,
Up there.
preferably at Winston and
Okay.
Toston. That's another
Burning
subject. but-
Garbage and all that stuff, you still be probably doing it somewhere like
Burning
that.
trees,
Yeah.
taking
Yeah, trees and-
tires and
trees and
metal.
tires,
Trees
yeah.
and stuff.
So we've lost almost between 4 to 6 inches of concrete on our floor. That's over 30-some years of scraping garbage across it.
Yeah.
We're starting to go through the rubber cutting edges on the loaders at a greater pace than we were before, because we're into the rock of the concrete. It's not smooth, so it's rough when you're sliding across it with that rubber edge. And yeah, we've got rebar coming up in certain points, but in the holes where we push the garbage into, you can look across the floor and see how they're caving in. We've got cracks in the main walls that are that wide now. Yeah, there was a project, I can't remember what it was. There was a binder, they did a study on it 15 years ago, and it was between $275,000 and $450,000 for the repairs then. I'm guessing we're $1.5 million to do those same repairs, if not more, right now.
So to me, it doesn't make sense to pump that money into it, especially when we can get a grant. These grants, they just did one in Sanders County a few years ago. They just built this complex that I'm talking about Their out-of-pocket for the match was $400,000.
So, do you have plans drawn up for,
I don't have
Yes, sir,
plans drawn
anything?
up. I'm not that far into it.
I actually have some, but
oh, Dave?
yeah.
You know what you want.
I've been looking at this since I set foot in that building, but yeah, they're widely available on the internet. The government kind of has a set parameter that they want you to build these transfer stations.
And you got enough room over here in Cedar to put
The
that?
county owns all that ground back there where those gravel piles are.
Right.
To me, it would be a matter of the ground, if the ground will support
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The biggest thing, if we get to this point, is the flow of traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If we move that big super stop down to Cedar Street, if they get 200 cars a day, we move that transfer station off the hill, that 200 cars a day or 250 cars a day just probably went closer to 400. So we can't have our semis coming in and out of there on the same path that the cars are coming out of there. We've got to have a different route out. There is a different way out of there, not developed, but there is a different way out of there.
Because there's still a city street that runs through there.
Yeah.
People have just planted their lawns on it.
Oh,
But it's still, the right-of-way belongs to the city. It's a city street that comes out to the highway,
Okay.
so.
So we have a, what do you call it, CIP fund for the equipment? Do we have one set up for long-term for a?
It's the exact
Transfer
same
station.
one that I got when I took this job. No. Is this been talked about with the commissioners and Bill? Yes.
Probably need to start thinking about that then.
Yeah, and we discussed that at the last one, about the extra positive cash balance, about moving some of that into the CIP now, plus the other 100,000, which would be partial to the canister thing. And yeah, ultimate goal is to get that transfer station moved, which would be huge savings on fuel, maintenance, running back and forth. I think that,
The wear and tear on the truck alone is up and down that road. It's in good shape, but it's still wear and tear on a gravel road.
oh, yeah.
yep,
It's not like you're driving 287.
no.
Would your truck last longer? 100% it would.
Yep.
Well, you're reducing your mileage, your fuel costs, everything on, especially pulling that hill loaded, but the biggest improvement I see coming from that is probably the attitude of the general public. 99% of the complaints I get are having to drive all the way out there. And when it rains or when they mag the road,
Oh, yeah, it's a mess.
it extremely amplifies the complaints, so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
So, TJ, that discussion with Bill at the last meeting, the positive cash flow and the, that was at 305,000.
His numbers are wrong.
So I can speak on that. So, it was just explained a little different to where if you're not used to it, we were $278,000 in the hole. So the 305 that we got, yes, it was good, but it didn't leave us with 305,000 positive in our cash. We actually only ended up the year at 72,000 in the black. So we have a little bit more to go before we can set money like that aside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it made it sound like we had all that money, and we really don't. We just made up the difference
The
Right.
turnaround
of what
was
we
different.
were.
Yep.
So we don't have that money per se to put into that
Because we're in
CIP.
the hole already.
We were in, if it was a regular business, we were in foreclosure.
Yep.
And there's no way about it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. They let this get completely upside down before somebody actually looked at it.
I think we're moving in a great direction, though. Joe does a good job at maintaining the equipment, and our expenditures on the O&M side are low, and TJ does a good job at, balancing stuff. And I feel like at the end of this year, we're going to be a lot better than what we were at the end of the first quarter. For example, the disposable fees that we bring in, our mattresses, trees, that kind of stuff. For the whole year, we'd only budgeted $50,000. At the end of September, we had almost $37,000.
Wow.
So Joe and his guys do a great job collecting stuff up there. So I expect to be over the 50 at the end of December when we're halfway through the year. So, that's going to help us a lot.
I will tell you, if any of you are thinking of opening a business, vacuum cleaners, mattresses, refrigerators. We're hauling a 40-yard canister full of mattresses to the landfill every 2 weeks.
Wow.
In the month of September, we took in 96 mattresses.
Oh my God.
How many people are getting new beds in town?
Apparently everybody.
Not me.
We had,
New vat, I'm gonna have to try. I'm
Yeah.
on the 12-year plan myself, but
when we crushed, we probably had between 150 and 200 refrigerators, and that was a month ago, and I have 30 refrigerators sitting out there already.
It's because Black Friday's coming.
Yeah.
And these, every once in a while, one of them's an old antique that a guy might want to restore,
Yeah.
but most of them are almost brand new refrigerators.
Weird.
2 or 3, 4 years old.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
The problem with them is they're all plastic. So we go out, when they bring them up, we'll go out every so often and gut them out and get all the plastics out of them. And we usually take the doors off, there's no metal in them. Try and just keep the compressor side. Then they come in and drain the Freon out before they crush, but that's all the metal. They'll take and turn them over and put the smaller metal inside of them, then bale them. But a refrigerator has almost zero recyclable value.
You should be reselling those things. Or bring them to the thrift shop or something.
And the vacuum cleaner side of it, and they just go into the trailer, but I'll bet I see no less than a dozen vacuums a day.
Oh.
A day.
Wow.
I think the month of August, we took in 57 mattresses, 52 mattresses, something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
couldn't-
pass-through for us.
I couldn't believe it when I ran the reports. I could not believe it.
Since we've got our new POS system up there, I've categorized everything out. So anything that comes in that's not non-household waste is categorized, so Misty can have a report of everything. It's concrete, refrigerators, hot tubs, animals, everything is split up, so we know exactly what's coming in.
Well, back to the can thing. I don't think we want to go. I mean, if we only got 75 grand to the positive, I don't think we want to go in the hole again, because that is not a very good look.
I'm not willing to go in the hole, but here's another way to look at it. And Misty will get on me for using farmer math. But we budgeted 36,000 for our metal. We took in 57. So that's all gravy, right? That goes into your CIP or your daily operations, depends on how we split it up.
But that's going to hurt the CIP fund then. And you said
This will be added into.
and you want to see a new vehicle.
So do you remember that 200?
no, it's
Do you focus here? Do you remember the $204,000 in our big budget that we had up there?
Yes.
That money is being used to make these payments. When we raise that assessment, that money is set aside specifically to make these payments. So we don't get to a day on the calendar where Misty has a payment going out that we don't have that money sitting there. So the CIP part of it, I'm not worried about.
And we do, if you remember the Nessie curve, all of our equipment had a lifespan,
Yeah.
which none of it was very long because it was already well past its lifespan. Right now, we're at a transfer truck and our loader is our two needs coming into the future. And they're, the loader, I don't think we're gonna have a problem with it, but it's definitely old. Our biggest problem with that right now is the tires are absolutely coming apart on it. They're foam filled. The tires are $25,000 just for a set of tires.
And that doesn't matter if we buy solid tires and just trade them straight across for the other ones, that's 25 grand.
Yeah, it's a
If we
swap
buy
out.
tires that aren't foam filled and foam fill them, it's 25,000.
$5,000. So, the loader itself, if it was in great shape and you could just outright sell, it's maybe worth $50,000. So if you put $25,000 in it and it's never had an overhead run on the motor, anything since it's been brand new, Caterpillar has absolutely no records of that machine ever being serviced, ever being in the shop. The only thing that's ever been done to it's been greased and the oil's been changed on it, and the filters. So it's in line for some work. It's getting by. We
How many
treat it
hours
very
is on it?
11,000.
Wow. That's a lot.
My biggest fear in that is it spent 99% of its time going like this in 30 feet, and I'm worried about just the drive system. It's hydrostatic. You know, I don't know how long it'll take it, but that's on our needs list. I mean, but that's all on the Nessie curve, and I think the longest thing we had on there was 5 years, and we're at 3 now. So we're going the right direction. We have breakdowns. It happens with stuff, but not as constant as it was. And the maintenance is a lot easier because we're on top of it. It's newer stuff. We know what we've got. If there's a problem, we know where it came from. So we're doing good. You know, the guys are all on board with the program of, you know, everybody's there for a long term. The guys that are working there now want to retire there. So they're invested in taking care of this equipment. They understand that if they take care of that, it's easier to ask for something new than it is to abuse it and say, hey, this is garbage, I want something new. Well, you didn't take care of what you had, so that's what you're stuck with. So the guys are invested in the program. I think we're doing good. I think we've got a good program as far as our metal recycling and what we're doing with everything else.
So that, like the loader and the truck, the CIP fund is, right now it's sitting with the new hook truck and the excavator.
The part of the Nessie curve has that.
And these are probably the two, I think we're past the expensive stuff right now.
Our loader doesn't have to be as big as it is. It's plenty big for that building.
It's too big. It's great in some respects. It's fast, but it's too big for inside the building. You can see where the bollards have been knocked over, the doors have been bent in. We had one guy running it, almost backed it through the office. Luckily for the thick concrete walls out there, it's tight. A smaller one's less money, less fuel consumption. You know, it's not as hard on stuff. The only place where it's a drawback is covering up our tire pit, you know, moving volumes of dirt, pushing concrete around and stuff like that. So,
Do you think if you was to try to sell this one and get a smaller one?
from talking to the equipment representative, he thinks it would bring good money. So, you know, right now we're getting along with it. I'd like to tell you we'll get another year out of it. It's going to depend on the tires, is the biggest thing. But to put tires on it, you're half the value of the loader, and then
Right. So
you got an expensive set of tires. So
you think you could sell it the way it is with the tires as is?
I think so. I think there's a market for everything, especially being in an ag heavy environment.
And then what would another smaller one cost? Used probably, right?
Yeah,
Used one?
60.
Depending on what brand, what kind you're looking at, I'd give you a broad range of between 60 and 100. But the thing about selling that loader to a farmer is they don't have to buy $25,000 tires for it. They can buy $8,000 worth of tires because they don't have to have them foam filled and they don't have to be solid rubber. The foam filling is absolutely the most expensive part. The tires are $8,000. The rest of that is the labor in cutting these foam-filled tires off and refilling them. The foam is the most expensive part, but we can't operate with pneumatic tires. I have railroad spikes, pieces of metal this big around that are stuck in those tires now. We'd ruin a set of tires in less than a week. So that's the drawback to that, but it's a plus to sell that loader to somebody that knows they can only put $8,000 worth of tires on it and have a good machine.
So if you found a new one or another smaller used one, you'd still have to fill the tires or do something, right?
You would, and that's where I'm saying I leave that at a broad range between 60 and 100,000. It depends on what loader you buy, but obviously you buy a smaller loader, you're buying smaller tires, they get cheaper. So
You're talking about that being additional to after you sold the other one?
well, you're gonna whatever you sold it would be a
Trade-off. If
subtraction
you got 50
from
for your old one.
yeah. You maybe only be in the new one
50, you'd be
25,000, somewhere in there. It would just depend on what you sold it for, and it's a problem with us. We can't just get on Facebook and say, hey, we got a loader for sale.
yeah.
There's that whole process. It's either a bid process or an auction, right?
It's public auction.
So that's the problem there. And then a transfer truck, tops we've been looking at's maybe a $60,000 truck. Both of us are kind of in agreement that we'd like to stay pre-def. You don't have nearly the problems
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
with the DEF fluid and all the other associated parts. So that's, like I said, I think we're past the expensive equipment.
We've made great strides here in the length of time we've done this. We've turned this program around with purchasing a lot of expensive equipment, like Joe said. The problem is we still have more to go. The biggest cost from here out is your building.
Which inherently will kind of eliminate costs too after the initial expense, because you won't have, there's going to be a need for equipment, but just certain kinds of equipment. You're kind of going to be a limited basis. You're not transferring that garbage over twice now. It's just going in
Your backhoe
the,
is gone.
yeah, it's just
basically.
going in
I
the
mean,
truck.
Yep.
You're cleaning up the program,
Right,
is basically what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
right.
That was, it was utterly ridiculous where they put it to begin with.
I could not agree more.
Yep.
I would imagine it was like, we have all this land here, it's where the landfill was, everybody's used to driving up here. And then that probably would have been great if that's what they would have just stayed with. And then they built Cedar Street and everybody's like, why do we have to go up there?
Yep.
So we spend an awful lot of money right now just transporting grass and
Yeah.
trees
Yep.
for free.
And you're handling stuff 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense.
So what is the option for paying for the cans?
That would come out of the CIP. Those are not on our Nessie curve.
And that, the payments coming out of the CIP right now with the other stuff is we can substantiate this into that, the cans, without it going in the hole?
Possibly.
We'd have to look at, at that and talk with Bill, and we probably need to get the cans on the Nessie curve and just see where they sit. I know Joe and I had talked, 6 months ago, thinking that potentially we could maybe do 2 a year, but that was.
240s right now would be fantastic. And I think I didn't look at the agenda, but there's some stuff coming up that may change the outlook on what we need for cans, and what we can shuffle around and make this to where we don't need all of them at once. I certainly don't need 6 of them at one time,
Yep.
but we're gonna need at least 2 of them here, 40s, before too long. If we wanna add to the rental, I don't know if there's any more businesses in town where we're gonna have that long-term thing. And I have 330s right now that cycle through. If I had 4 of those, I maybe wouldn't have to make people wait. It just, I don't know. I'd like to tell you people are gonna stop building houses here, but
What
I
is-
don't think it's gonna happen.
No.
What's the lifespan of a canister?
It depends on how it's treated And unfortunately, all of these, especially our 30s and our 20s, were cycled through as grass can and cardboard cans. So that stuff just sits on the bottom of them, collects moisture, and it rusts the seams out down the sides and the floors out. And then when that happens and you have to dig them out with an excavator, then it ripples the floors in between the cross members, and that's what's happened to all these cans.
How do we keep that from happening? If
We're not doing that stuff anymore. We're not putting any kind of a new can into service as a grass can. We don't do cardboard anymore. It just goes straight in the garbage. It's just a way to eliminate it. We're setting the cans on the floor now and cleaning them out. Stuff that gets stuck in them, dirt piles up in the corners. So we actually went through here at the end of summer and cleaned them all out. And we're trying not to let that happen, but these ones with the rippled floor, it's just, it's kind of an uphill battle with that, so.
How old are they?
Some of these cans
Some of
are
those came with the
as old as Cedar Street is, however long that's been there. Some of the 30-yarders were back
6 years ago.
whenever they started the walk-in canister
Yeah.
thing.
So do
Mary
you
was here.
charge to have somebody deliver a pickup load of grass up there,
Not grass, we don't.
but just trees and brush?
Trees, yep. Grass and leaves are free. Even if it's weeds, if it's stuff with pine cones and pine needles in it, it's still free. It just goes in the burn pile. It doesn't go in the compost pile. We really, truly don't have a composting program. All we can do is roll it over with a loader. We don't have the machines and the ability to refine it into what it needs to be compost. But we do have a lot of people that come up. We mix any of the manure with the shavings from the spindle factory,
Yep.
American Porch, mix it in with the sawdust. It's real popular with people in their gardens. We have a lot of people come get it, and we let them have it for free. So we try and keep that clean. That's why we try and keep the grass clean. And we're rolling it over. If you come up and look at the rows of piles, they're really bad to they're getting really clean. We've developed a different program. We have a little more manpower. When it was just two people trying to run that place, it was just like, yeah, dump it. I got to go. I'm driving truck. I got to be over here. So
So how
we've
many
definitely.
loads of grass do you have to haul up typically?
We haul the grass can in the summertime once a week, and that's a 30-yard canister packed down with a backhoe. So it's a
What would happen if you didn't have a grass can at all?
I like the way you think. That's
Me
gonna
too.
bring us into
So-
our next
I mean,
conversation.
if everybody can haul it up there for
So if
free,
they've got truckloads, it's kind of like trees. If you got a couple of branches, we don't mind you throwing them in the can. Grass, same way. If you got a pickup load, we ask that you bring them up there. It just gets to be a volume. The grass we don't handle nearly as much. The tree can itself is problematic. We've been picking probably 6 to a dozen black garbage bags out of that thing every week when we dump it. Now it's just become another garbage can up there. We have to stack the tree pile. We have to clean the garbage out of it. The DEQ won't let us burn it if there's garbage in it, painted, treated, stained, any kind of glue type wood, stuff like that. It's got to be clean. So we're out there cleaning that up. And then when it's all said and done being burnt, we have to haul the ash off and the stumps and the metal and everything that's left over that got thrown in there that we didn't see. And I think this year we hauled off probably come to about 3 full semi-loads of ash out of that tree pile. So there's an expense to, I know it upsets people that they're just, oh, you're just burning them, why do I have to pay for it? We still have a handling fee there, and we still have cleanup after that. If we just leave the ash there, pretty soon we're not gonna have a pit, because it does generate a lot of ash.
what I was thinking is maybe you could free up a container by just saying you can haul your tree brush up there for free.
We're on that. I think that's coming.
To keep getting off the subject here, I'm gonna recommend, talk with Bill on the canisters. Obviously, those prices don't get held forever.
No.
So there's a risk of cost going up too. I'm gonna recommend, in this discussion, that we see if it can get fit into the CIP without running it into the hole.
We could do at least 2 cans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we get them
Yep.
on like a
Rotation.
rotation?
Can I
Because
That's kind of what Joe and I were
Can I
talking
move
about when
to
we
Yeah.
were
buy
talking
2
about
cans?
I
It's
think
on
we
the
could
discussion
set them
right
up
now,
where,
not
even if it
decision.
wasn't every year, it could be every other year.
Yeah.
Depending on how the rest of this evening's discussion goes.
Yep.
Could we
We need a motion for that?
No,
No.
No.
it's just discussion.
So we
We can
can,
only do discussion right now.
yep, because we were here and now we're over
If
here.
you guys make a recommendation, is all you would have to do is you recommend that we look into this. I will go in front of the commission and say, I'm looking at purchasing X amount of cans.
Yep,
I have it in my budget, I'm buying them. Basically, they're gonna say, well, what do you need them for? I will explain why we need them, and that's pretty much the end of that discussion.
Well, could we do 3?
I did.
Could
What's
we do
that?
I don't think
3
he got that.
and then 3? Do we have that much money?
Let's see where
I
we
think
end
that's
up
where
on
we
this
just have to talk
discussion
with Bill
tonight.
and just
Okay.
go forward with that and
Okay.
I would.
bring
I-
that back into December.
They said they
Sorry,
deliver
Jay.
2 at a time, so it
Yeah.
doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
okay.
to
If we,
set them out.
well, that's 40 yarders. The 30s, they stack inside of each other and then set the lids in them sideways and they come disassembled. That's the way the last ones came. I think the last time when they brought the 30 yarders out, they brought them out 6 at a time. What my need is right now is probably two 40 yarders and a 30 yarder. I don't know, Kif could probably speak to this better than I can about construction, but that's where we're renting most of these out is to construction.
Yeah.
And I don't, if it increases, we'll definitely be able to increase our revenue renting those out. Right now, just around town, Tri-County's got 5 canisters sitting down here that could be ours. Well, Republic Services, sorry, there's,
Yeah.
Tri-County's no more.
So really, you need 240 and 130.
That's my minimum, yeah, you know, where we're at. And then the end of this discussion can determine whether, you know, what our real need for 40 yarders is, because it's just part of what we're gonna discuss here in a minute. I don't wanna get into that, because it's a whole nother thing, but you'll know what I'm talking about when it gets there, so.
Yeah, so I would recommend checking with the financial part of it and see if that can be floated without running it into the hole.
Do we charge the commercial lawnmowers for dumping their grass?
No.
We don't?
Not grass, no.
Because that got,
As long as it goes up there.
up to the transfer station.
And most of them have to bring it up there anyways, because they have bigger trailers with their
Right.
mowers on it, and we don't allow trailers in there and stuff, so. We don't see a lot of them, so I don't
Oh,
necessarily
they
know
must
what
be
they're doing with their
getting rid of it
grass.
themselves. Okay.
We've had people come down from Helena that do it and stuff that have come up there, but mostly especially here lately, we've seen a lot of commercial tree trimmers.
Oh, yeah, because that one has been going around town.
But back to the tree limbs, if you didn't have a bin for that, and you gave people free access to dump their trees, brush up there, wouldn't that free up a canister or two?
It's on our next agenda item.
That's
What's
right
that?
here.
That's our next agenda
Yeah.
item.
Oh, okay.
So moving on to the discussion decision on tree and grass canister removal at Cedar Street.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
That was easy.
Dude, you didn't even
I don't even
have
have
to
to
talk about it.
talk. Right now, it's pointless to have that tree can and grass can.
I agree, totally.
All it's doing is sitting down there collecting garbage. The crew at the transfer station has to dig it out.
Yep.
We're wasting time.
Yep,
Yep.
That thing needs to disappear.
yep.
One of our bigger problems with the tree can is the way they positioned it when they built the site. It's facing towards the back fence. We actually ruined a brand-new drive tire trying to get that can out of there this year at one point. Just the way you have to get into it. By the time you get the truck on the can, you're wedged in between the fence and the wall.
Yep.
It just lays out. Our new truck does not turn anything like the old truck. If you're familiar with trucks, this is a dual steering box Peterbilt. It turns like a Dodge pickup. You couldn't do a U-turn out here in a 6-lane road with that thing, so it's been problematic with the tree can. A lot of times we've got to try and wedge it in there sideways, and then ultimately we have to call the site attendant over with the backhoe to get it positioned. And
So that would just be a blank space then. We wouldn't even use that space.
unless we can figure out a different way to put a garbage can in there. I kinda almost think with the way people throw garbage, we could set it up to back it in the other way, so you're throwing it in the end of the can, not having it broadside to you,
Okay.
and still have a fairly productive garbage can. The grass can, you could put a 30-yard can where the grass can is, and use for a garbage can there as well.
Great.
With that being said, I don't know if we remove this, I don't know if I want to bring it back in the spring either. I'm not positive at that point.
I wouldn't. I would just say
That
get
would
rid of
be-
it. If they have trees and that, just take it up to the transfer station.
And to talk about the trees a little bit, where Patrick said, give them free access, we still got a cost against that.
Yep,
When we burn that ash has to leave.
yep.
So I would not let that go.
That's true, but you're also not having to buy another can.
Not having to buy a can, but I still have a cost investing on both sides of that.
Yeah, you got employee hours. and
I've got
removal
fuel.
and-
Tipping fees.
The problem with the tree can too is that the trees, two people can come in and the trees will be sticking out the top. You have to pack that thing down with the backhoe, and you get trees and they're that big and you push on it wrong with the backhoe, it stuffs it right through the side of the can. Our tree can's the absolute worst can we have. Everything about it is destroyed, and that's for a reason. I won't put a new can in there. It's just,
Well-
it's too hard on it.
You know, the grass is one thing, but trees are another thing. If you're doing tree branches and stuff, it fits the criteria for bulk.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You're
right.
that stuff can go up to the transfer station.
And I've always told them, even at the transfer sites, if you come out and you got a rose bush or 4 branches you cut off your
Yep.
tree, let them throw it in the garbage can.
Yep.
If they've got their grass in garbage bags,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's in the garbage can or not. It's all going to hell and it'd get buried, and it's, that stuff will rot right away in their garbage, so.
Yep.
If they've got 15 bags of it, they've already exceeded our criteria for what they need to bring up there anyways, so.
Yep.
And as far as the cans go with grass, I can take you out and show you 5 of the cans that they've used for grass.
Yep.
Every one of them is completely rusted out. We've managed to find a purpose for them. We've taken them to the transfer sites out of town and used them for metal cans, which saves me and my guys from having to wade into garbage and get metal out of it. There's nothing scarier than coming out of a pile of garbage and having a hypodermic needle stuck in your
Yep.
boot.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
So
Oh.
if we can get them to throw their metal away at the sites and we don't have to get in the garbage to get it out,
Yep.
and a lot of people say, why are you even getting it out of there? Well, $56,000 worth is why we're pulling the metal out of the garbage.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see why that should even be down there. Because it does fit the criteria of bulk, so that's my opinion.
We just need to make a motion to move it up there permanently.
Yeah.
Make a motion to move it up there permanently.
I'll second
Second.
it. We're all for it. Yay.
All in favor?
It's fine.
That was
Aye.
easy.
All opposed? Discussion on site hours and possible site closures.
Tiff, let's put these 2 together, 10 and 11 together.
And consolidation of Tossin and Raidersburg.
When we did away with the walk-in cans, the concession to the commission was we would give them more time. Okay, with that being said, let's back up a little bit. When the Toston Bridge was being built, Toston and Raidersburg were looking with the commission at the time to consolidate. The reason they didn't consolidate is because of the construction of the bridge. They didn't want to do that at that time. It was not off the table. The walk-in cans was their concession, right? Toston and Raidersburg, Toston probably gets a little bit more garbage than Raidersburg. Raidersburg, not a complete can over the weekend. You are traveling, I think it's 9 miles, 8-9 miles. I don't see why we are wasting money driving to Raidersburg on a rented site from the state. Why are we doing that? Why not consolidate the two? This one's going to take us some time to do, but why not consolidate the two at one location?
And
Reduce
we've
your
been talking
man
about this
hours.
For a while. so-
What's that?
I said, we've been talking about this for a while.
We have. This is gonna be one that's gonna be the hard fight, though, that we're gonna have public hearings on, public meetings on. We brought it up last week, or last time we all met, that we wanted to kind of bring this to the table. Originally, I looked at a site, maybe building a whole new site. I don't think we need to do that. We've got enough room at Toston. We may have to pour another wall to put another can. We don't need to. We can consolidate these two, utilize the 2 cans that are there. 1 can, I don't know if Matt has ever hauled in, how long's Matt been here, 2 years?
I never have.
That can has
That
never
can's
moved.
never moved.
That is an overflow can. So to me, it's pointless to have those 2 separate sites like that if we're not filling 2 cans up over that time.
And we're renting
We are renting the
The-
state
the
land,
Raidersburg site?
yes.
Oh, that
Where's
doesn't
the
make any
loca-
sense at all.
Where's the location of the Toston site?
Lombard Road,
Oh,
out over the canal, mile and a half out of town, I guess, 2 miles out of town.
so the people at Raidersburg,
Would have to go to Toston.
yeah, which if normally they probably gotta come down there to go to groceries once or twice a week anyhow.
You're gonna hear some squabbling no matter what the decision is made to do this.
Yeah,
It is, we have to do what's in the best interest of Broadwater County to save money.
Yep.
right.
This is a savings for us.
Yep.
Would you increase the number of hours
No,
that it would be open?
no. Possibly decrease them.
Well, it would be open 3 days, 3 days a
Get little
week.
pushback.
Well, it would be
You
open
think?
3 days a week. So it would be open Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Whereas each one of them's only open 2 days a week now. So you still have a weekday option and both days on the weekend at one consolidated site.
I could see people going for it if it was more accessible, but
If it was the same days, you mean? If they had Thursday through Sunday? That's what they have right now. They have access at Raidersburg Thursday and Saturday, Toston Friday, Sunday.
How many cans can Toston hold right now? Just one?
2.
There's 2 there. There's 2 at both
They
locations.
both
There's
hold-
actually 3.
They both hold 2. There's 2 garbage cans and a metal can at each site right now. Winston was built different. There's 2 garbage cans, a metal can, and a tree can at Winston. That's just the way it was built. They're different cans. They've actually had extensions welded on the top of them. They will not work anywhere else. We can't swap them out. So those cans at Winston go directly to Helena, which is time consuming, to say the least. But we're finding that Winston probably produces the most garbage out of anywhere. We have a full can there every Monday and every Friday. Raidersburg, Toston, Dry Gulch are almost, you'll have a rarity where they're all full at one time or another, but 90% of the time, it's a half a can at each one of those sites.
So if you did the Raidersburg and Toston together at Toston, your thought on hours is Monday, Saturday, and Sunday? Or,
Wednesday, Saturday,
Sun-
and Sunday.
I'm not-
Or any day during the
I'm
week
not
and
opposed
Saturday
to
and Sunday.
anything. So here lies our dilemma. All of our outreach sites are open on the weekends. We're in a situation right now where we have a gentleman that is out. He's a part-time employee. All the other sites are taken. How do we cover that?
Yep.
We can't.
So,
unless we shuffle the solid waste transfer station. Say one guy's done hauling by noon, he goes home, knowing that he's gonna be going out there. We've gotta work through the details on that. I can't tell you for sure how that would work. Alls I know is we're not hauling enough garbage
yep.
to, on a rented piece of ground, to have it open.
Yeah.
So what are the hours presently?
3 to 6.
3 to 6,
9 to 3, sorry.
and 3.
I knew I had some numbers in there.
So could
Thursday,
you,
Friday,
That's for
Saturday,
Eric on the
Sunday.
weekends.
I know you're gonna plug your ears when I say this, but if you were to do that and not add any more time to it, especially taking Raidersburg and Toston, putting them together in Toston, and not extending the hours, don't throw anything at me, but I think you're gonna need to do a walk-in or leave the walk-in on non-business hours if you're not extending the hours.
I think we should discuss some of the special treatment we've gotten out at Raidersburg and Toston lately.
So, Joe can speak to Toston as our site, or our truck driver went out to Toston to open the gate on Monday.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Please elaborate.
So when Matt pulled up to open the gate, he got out of the truck to open the gate, and there was a blue paper shop towel there in front of the gate, and somebody had
Defecate.
kindly relieved themselves and was nice enough to cover it up with a towel, though.
Oh my land.
Raidersburg has become a problem again, like Winston used to be. It's every time somebody goes out there to open the gate, we're picking up garbage in front of the gate. Our biggest problem out there is cell phone service is sporadic. The cameras are not exactly helpful, so.
Well, and you probably get a lot of campers, you know, from.
Yeah, we eliminated a lot of garbage, taking the walk-ins away because the campers just didn't have access to it. We went from hauling 7 days a week in Winston to hauling twice a week when we got rid of the walk-in cans.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to.
The only thing that I'm touching on is you take part of a service away and charge more. It's not the appealing part. I
We're not
think
charging more though, kid.
no, but the assessment went up, so now everybody in the county's paying more on their assessment. You take the canister away from Raidersburg and basically force those people to drive, 9, 10 more miles and not have the service they had of the convenience part. I'll rephrase that. You take the convenience out of it, that's where the problem's going to be.
Can I ask what your thoughts are when you say more service? What is going through your head as far as
Well, no,
that?
so I did phrase that wrong. You take the convenience out of it
Yeah.
and you maintain a same day deal with it, especially for Raidersburg people.
So for example, right now, between the two sites, they're open 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Are you suggesting staying there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you don't,
Okay, that's where you and I don't have to throw anything then. That's not off the table.
yes.
But I thought you were trying to get us to add more hours. Absolutely not.
Oh,
We
no,
are open
no.
well more than enough.
Yep. Yep.
And I will say, that's already 24 hours, and as a part-time employee, we can't have them pushing up towards that 30-hour because
Yep.
with our policies, once you cross 30, you become a full-time. And then that becomes a whole different can of worms
Yep.
when you start talking benefits and stuff. So we try to keep all of our guys below 24.
Yes. Yep.
So that's where I was going to go with that.
Yep.
So-
No,
Yeah.
100%. If you do the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, incorporating the two together with the hours that they've got, and you maintain those 4 days, I think you're taking convenience away, but the service part of it's still there.
Yeah.
Which would relieve the
think you got-
need for a walk-in.
Let me add this part of it. So in my thinking of, when I was thinking about this, of going to 3 days a week, and TJ's got the schedule, he can talk about that in a second too, but consolidating that site, going to the 3 day a week schedule saves us $28,000 a year. Now, when we took the walk-ins away, that was to help our budget out with our expenditure. We went backwards on that because we added so many hours. We gave that money away and then some.
We gave 50% of it back.
It didn't help us what we were trying to accomplish. We just exchanged one problem for a different one.
Yep.
I have a question. How much do you pay rent to the state for that location down there?
250.
$250 a
A
month,
year.
or a year? Oh,
The other thing about that is we have to pay for a porta potty out there, and that's $100, $115 a month. So there's
$1,500
another
bucks.
couple grand in savings.
Yep.
The mileage savings, the manpower savings of not hauling out of Raidersburg, the fuel, everything else. It's all savings. I would guess you're adding it up, you're getting well over, $35,000 in savings.
Yep.
That's my biggest thing. That's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to run this like it was my own business, and I'm looking at the bottom line and what I can't spend and what I can spend, and trying to make this thing work and live. When I leave, I want somebody to walk in here and say, man, this is running good.
Yep.
This is a great job.
Yep.
Well, the way I see it, Raidersburg people all have to leave that town once or twice a week to go get groceries.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
You
Not
don't
all.
think so?
I take my garbage to town once a week. I have never had the need to throw my garbage away at 4 o'clock in the morning
Right.
on a Thursday. I can't imagine that people just can't have a little patience and
Yeah,
budget
I
their
mean,
time when they're doing things to do all this at once.
That's
Yep.
my thought too, is,
People are scared of change, and I mean, I'm no different, but you have to adapt to it, and whether anybody likes it or not,
Yeah.
it has to change. The
Yeah.
unfortunate part of it.
Yeah, I don't have a canister out in Deep Creek, but I'm
Is
all
there
right
any-
with driving
Yep.
7 miles to throw my garbage away.
I do it with a smile on my face.
Because sooner or later, I'm coming to town and my
Yep.
garbage can come with me is the way I look at it. And you're in the same boat.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are driving farther than the people in Raidersburg that have to drive to
Oh, yeah.
Boston to throw their
Absolutely.
garbage
is there
away.
even a grocery store in Raidersburg?
There's nothing
No.
there.
There's nothing there
So
anymore.
how can they not leave?
There's some people that don't, they probably don't leave every
Well,
6
if they don't
months.
leave, then they don't buy nothing, they don't have that
Right.
much garbage.
A
Right.
lot of them live off the land, and
Yes.
that's no joke.
So they have not that much garbage to begin with then.
Oh, there's garbage out there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I just,
Drive out.
it's
I
one
know
of those
the
things
town's
where
kinda
we're
crappy,
just,
but, they probably wouldn't really care, they just throw it in their backyard anyhow.
so when I tell you these cans are half full, these are non-compacted cans.
Yeah.
If you take a 40-yard can, fill it to the top, and then go over and push it down with a backhoe,
Yeah.
it drops to 25%.
Yep.
You're just squeezing the air out of plastic bags and knocking the cardboard. Cardboard boxes will hold up a lot of garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Structurally,
Yep.
it's incredible till you flatten them out. When you
Yep.
flatten them out, it just, so we'll generally, the cans at Cedar Street, pack them twice during a week. Last week, I was a man short. We made 2 cans last down there an entire week.
Yep.
It was a little rough getting the garbage out of them, but we made it work, just because of the way we had to do it, so. I won't do that with new cans. I'd like to take this compaction thing out of the,
Yep. Yeah, I think if you weigh the cost of manpower, hours into, and try to incorporate that into joining the two together in Toston. I mean, obviously, we're gonna have the savings of the diesel and the truck and the manpower, extra hours back and forth there, the cost savings of the rent, cost savings of the porta john.
and the 3-day schedule would actually eliminate a part-time employee.
I think there will be kickback with that part of it, but if there's if there's any public comment and they can come up with, between Toston and Radersburg residents, if they could come up with, okay, well, you know what, we can maintain with the 3-day, it'd be better on this day, and this day.
I think we would be open to discussion. This is not set in stone. This is something that we're just trying to get off the ground,
Yes,
right?
yep.
I think you should add an extra day if you're gonna combine them.
5 days?
No,
Four.
no, 4.
Oh,
We're at 3, one more makes
no,
4.
right
We're
now
actually
we're
at
at
four.
4.
Oh, we're
The
at 4?
proposal
You were
is
tossed
3.
into it, Radersburg.
Right.
But it's rotated, isn't it?
Yes.
So Toston's open Fridays and Sundays, Radersburg's open Thursdays and Saturdays.
Oh, I got it.
But we have, our site attendant lives there. But that's our site attendant right now that is also out. So looking towards the future, if it's something where he can't continue, we're gonna have to find somebody that lives there, or I don't know what we're gonna do, because to have somebody drive from here out to there for the pay
Yeah.
that's a tough ask. And right now, we're asking our other guys to do it.
All right, well,
I would say, obviously, this is just in discussion, but I would say, you know, the adapting to change thing
Yeah.
could possibly happen down the road, but I would try to, if this even comes to fruition, I would go with the 4 days. If it comes down, you know, year or two down the road, that it's gotta go to a 3-day or something like that, then we can't have it open without somebody there, so.
Correct. So this would all be based off of volume.
yes.
If we're not seeing the garbage, it doesn't constitute paying a site attendant to
Yep.
be there. Fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it does constitute having a guy there, okay, then we'll discuss that.
Well, I mean, you take hour for hour. If it was 4 days or 3 days with extended hours, Saturday and Sunday are probably preferable primary days. So if you cut it down to 3, but you extended the hours on Saturdays and Sundays, it still adds up.
And that's
for it.
doable without putting our part-time guys in jeopardy of the time frame
Yes.
with the schedule I've
Yep.
got in my head. And to go back to change, I don't think there's anything we've changed or talked about or done in here that somebody hasn't wanted to fight with us
Oh,
about. I think it's just inherently in everybody's nature to want to fight about stuff, so.
You cannot make everybody happy.
Depends
That's
on what
not-
day it is.
That's not our job. Our job's to do what's best for the solid
Yes.
waste department.
Yes.
I think we should definitely come up with numbers that it's gonna save us cost-wise, so we have that. If we start doing public hearings, we need,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, we need
Well
the
said.
rationale, the financial,
yeah.
from a commissioner's
Well, it's
standpoint.
just,
When we discuss it, we can't just say because.
Right. Yep.
like he
Yep.
said earlier, we went through all that closures of the walkthroughs thinking there was gonna be this generation of money, and it was, ended up costing money. Like, if we're gonna do this again, let's make sure we have actual factual
What
Yeah.
money.
what was projected, Doug, at that time to get rid of all the walking cans with the fuel saving, the manpower and stuff was 56,000. What we gave back, because the commission asked us to have longer hours at sites, give them more time, have the transfer station open on Sundays that wasn't open on Sundays, that was $24,000 that we gave back.
Yeah.
So that, from a business end of it, that wasn't a good business deal. It was a good business deal to get rid of the walking cans, to get control of the garbage. Doing the stickers, absolutely good idea. Get everybody on the same page.
Oh, yeah. No,
So-
and that's what I'm getting at. Whatever decision's made, I just wanted to see the full picture.
And I can get you a breakdown of where we're saving on each thing. But like I said, just in my preliminary, when I was trying to work through this schedule and figure out operational, how it works best for the guys, us, you know, how we're doing things, it's probably gonna be a bare minimum of $30,000, but I can break that down into different sections of what we'll
Yep.
take the mileage and the fuel, what we're getting for fuel mileage, what it costs per hour for the guys doing that, what it costs for the site attendants, what it costs, we'll knock the rent off from the state, the rent off from the porta potty. You know, we don't do anything that doesn't cost us money, so everything's,
Right.
Yep.
Bill's probably got a spreadsheet for it already. You just gotta
He
fill
can
the
build
blanks.
it. He can build it.
mine are a lot simpler to read.
Yeah.
We probably need to know, you said we might have to build a wall.
Possibly a Z-wall if we put a third can there,
So we
like
need
for
to
a garbage
probably
can.
have a, not a possibly, but how much that's gonna cost.
At this point, we do not have the volume to need a third can.
Okay.
Yep.
That would be potential down the road.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, alls we need to do is, we've got to move some blocks at Toston that were there from the walk-in cans. Rework the parking lot a little bit. I can be in and out of there in about 4 hours and be set up to,
Historically, walls have only been popular by 50 to 49% of the population. So,
Is that on the southern?
it depends,
Side?
depends where the wall's going, but typically half of the people don't like it. The other half do.
So if, by the time we get through talking about Toston and Raidersburg, if we get them consolidated between the public hearings, the public meetings, the outcry from everybody, best case scenario is I would like to have this ready to roll come springtime. So, I mean, yeah, we have talked about this for quite a period of time. That's a goal. Like I said, we're trying to clean a lot of this up. And, you know, with keeping the hours, keeping the 4 days, there's no savings there other than manpower driving out to Raidersburg and the fuel. It was brought to me that the guys at the transfer station, all of the full-time employees would like to work 10 hours a day instead of 8. If they had that option, they would like to be able to go 6 to 4. To make that work feasibly in my mind, you need another tractor, because that truck first thing in the morning would need to be sitting at Lewis and Clark landfill at the gate. With that also, these guys, the transfer station guys, get a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, they get several people that come up at 3 o'clock. Our gate closes at 3 o'clock. If you're not there at before 3 o'clock, they've got to say we've got to pay comp time. There's no overtime. There's a lot of variables to consider. We've made a fair amount of changes. After looking at this schedule that Joe come up with, it's not a bad schedule, but if somebody goes out, that's my problem. A site attendant calls off, how do we cover it? How he's trying to cover it is taking those down to 3 days. So, but it still leaves our sites open on the weekends, which I'm not disagreeing with, makes it easier for the public. They can't get to the transfer station, even if they went to 10 hours a day at the transfer station 6 to 4, I don't know that the public can get there by then anyway.
No.
that would be, but that's too is, it still provides 12 hours a day of coverage on that because we would stagger when Cedar Street opens and closes. So if we're 6 to 4 at the transfer station, Cedar Street's 7 to 6 or 7 to 5 or
7 to 5.
however you want to stagger that to keep. Right now there's a site in Broadwater County open 7 days a week for at least 8 hours a day. Somewhere.
like I really don't have an opinion on this. I will tell you though, Gallatin County is a hell of a lot bigger than Broadwater County. You know how many sites, outreach sites they've got? Logan. There's also a facility in town, but everything is paid. So they've got a heck of a lot more people than we got.
Yeah.
And they make it work. Yeah, the people are backed up parallel to the interstate every day. They're making it work.
Idaho Falls had one site. Middle of Idaho Falls, that was it. Otherwise, you had garbage service.
Are we still having troubles with finding site attendants?
Pardon me, yes, we are.
How many residents are in Raidersburg?
I couldn't even tell you that. Kiff would probably know better than me. That's his stomping grounds.
I'm just gonna guess 47.
It might be a few more than that.
Yeah.
And there's, Toston's half that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not much.
Can't we offer, I suppose it'd be a nightmare on insurance, but offer a program that if we're having trouble finding site attendants, you volunteer a weekend, you get a chip away at your assessment. Well, heck, for that matter.
Are you offered?
Hell no, I'm not offering.
Well, if you're offering, I'm
An
accepting.
idea.
But basically for the time, they'd run up, in 2 weeks, they'd be gone through their assessment, just with the wage we're paying now. Then we gotta turn around and pay them, or we gotta go through the whole county of volunteering everybody
Well,
for
that's why
2
I say
days.
open it to the public. You might have 200 people that say, I would absolutely do that, and I'm not gonna pay my assessment.
The problem you run into though is the quality of the site attendant. Is everybody gonna make sure that they're checking stickers, or because it's Bob, their neighbor, he gets in without a sticker? And we're having that problem now. We've got a new trend of everybody taking pictures of their stickers on their phones. It's like, here, I got my sticker. No, you don't. I can go down to the supermarket and take a picture of somebody's sticker.
We're not actually falling for that, right?
No,
No. But
no.
we've had people screaming and hollering in our office, and I says, no exceptions.
Yep. Nope.
Let's also talk about the big issue is insurance with volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we
No,
have
I
enough
get,
trouble
I
with our
get the point, but
employees falling into canisters. We don't need the general public falling into the canister.
this is not.
Yeah, it is.
So you
I don't know,
think
there's a shortage of people everywhere.
Yeah.
I guess my personal opinion is we gotta balance the budget and do with the right thing for the rest of the people of the county. As far as I'm concerned, Raidersburg is gone.
How many people haven't paid their assessment?
That's what I would think.
So you're talking about a sheriff's work detail?
Exactly.
So,
Can't that be a
I
thing?
think I'll let Debbie come
If
up.
you
with-
haven't, if your assessment hasn't been paid, we'll gladly take your services for a week, and you're done. You're off scot-free after 1 week.
you gotta look at the list first.
We are gonna need somebody else in the public
There's
relations department.
There's over 100. There's 100,000 left to get paid.
Yeah,
You guys are joking. I'm
That-
dead serious.
That-
Like, I think it would work.
Siri doesn't understand your comment.
Neat sheet of something.
I am.
I
am
love
gonna go
that
have plastic
idea.
surgery, change my address.
But it's not gonna be why I'm here.
I already thought you were the ghost of Bill Jarocki. About Nessie curves.
I know, right?
I thought Bill was staying from. He's talking Nessie curves. He's talking running my own
I miss
business.
it.
He's
I-
talking
Right?
financials. I'm like, holy
The
smokes.
Nessie curve
Bill
brings
crawled
cheer
inside
to
you.
children.
Hold on. Let's get back on task. I'm tired. I wanna get the heck out of here.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
The only recommendation is, from me, is to put the decision of Raidersburg Toston on next month's agenda.
Well, so we're just kicking the can down the road. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's gonna have to be that
Yeah, we
way.
have to.
It's on, that was only on decision, or discussion, sorry.
Recommended to discuss decision next.
That's,
only
that's why TJ said spring. Like I said, I can have it ready to function in 4 hours, but between the discussion, decision,
Yep.
the public meetings, this and that, the commission meetings, we're at least 3 months
The,
out.
the pushback that we're gonna get has to be validated through numbers. We have to have the numbers to present the public
Yes.
and the commission before a educated decision can be made.
And that's what I was gonna say, before your next December meeting, you guys need those numbers.
Yes, yes.
So I
Yep.
don't know if that's
Okay.
possible with
Oh.
holidays and stuff, but.
We're gonna have to have real factual numbers as well, as
Yeah.
far
Yes.
as like
Yep.
getting you numbers of
Some options.
invoices and stuff
If
like
we do
that.
this, if we do 3 days versus 4
Yeah.
days, all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Payroll.
I can figure out the fuel off of mileage and what the fuel mileage the truck gets.
I've already
Hours.
got all that, I'm sure.
We know what we're paying. I think I worked all that up when we were gonna when we eliminated the walk-in cans. But the labor's the biggest savings. You know, you eliminate a part-time employee, we're having trouble finding them anyways, and, you know, it kind of goes on from there. But I'll break it all down. I just
Yep.
gave you the total number, but I'll break it down into what saves every dollar into categories.
Yeah, I guess you can put on that decision part question mark with the numbers for the savings part.
Yes.
And
I just have one real quick question. TJ wants to get out of here. Between Tossin and Raidersburg, seriously, how many residents do you think there are?
I can get that figured out for you.
Okay.
It comes up on our assessment as a different number.
In the
won't be
towns
hard to-
proper, though, we're not far from being
Yeah.
off. It's
No.
like
It's
literally
close.
75 people in the actual, what they used to call towns.
Yep.
When you talk about the
Right.
farmers and ranchers out and around, you're obviously adding some more people, but the
So-
ranches are fairly good sized out there, and the
Raidersburg
people are
is
pretty
is
spaced.
a village.
Say we take everything from 287, that direction. That'll even eliminate some people that aren't using that would use Toston. You're still under 100. I will get those hard numbers for you.
Is there even a post office in Raidersburg anymore?
There is not a post office, the address is Toston.
Cost.
Yeah.
Just
So,
a real quick.
so I'm assuming you gotta go get your mail or something at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's my thought too, is they gotta go into town at some point.
Well, some of them have Pony Express still.
And that was, I was gonna hit that when TJ mentioned that. So when they originally voted to close Raidersburg and move it to Toston, part of the concession with not doing that was because of the Amish having to take their buggies across the 4-lane bridge. They've got electrified mats out there to keep the game off of it. I don't know the validity of these mats, but we've actually have 2 canisters out at the central hub of where, and forgive me if I'm wrong, if it's Amish or Hooterites, or I'm not well
Amish.
versed in, but we actually have 2 cans out there that are on their property.
Oh, okay.
So they're not able to transport their garbage traditionally,
Yep.
like everybody else. So that was done when Daryl was here, and he'd actually, I think, met with them, and we came to that decision, so.
That started when this discussion first came up. We had the cans available. It's good for them. They all pay the assessment. It's all going there. We're doing a little better off of them that way.
They do pay for the canisters. They have one that they use for construction, because there's like 4 businesses where they're sitting. So they pay everything for the canister that they use for the construction. They don't pay for the tonnage in the household garbage one, but they pay for the transportation of it.
A real quick look, it's AI, I don't know if it's correct or not, but it says Raidersburg, 55 people, Toston, 324.
Toston's got a big radius then.
Thriving
That's
metropolis.
what yeah, like I said, I just.
It'd be nice if the dumpster was, say, over by the bunkhouse bar or someplace.
That's actually one of the first places we looked at. It's unfortunately owned by a very large construction company.
Oh, really?
So I actually went to Rabine, talked to him. They don't have to, but it's good for them to give back. So I was looking for 3 acres, I think, as I was looking at. And it was just east of Smith Lane, where that property that they own on that gravel pit goes all out. It's fairly close to the Amish as it is. Then we kind of stalled out. think it was Dwayne Rabine, kind of pumped the brakes on us a little bit. It's not off the table. We can dang sure get in talks
I
with
agree
him.
with
That would make it a lot better.
But that comes a cost. You
Yes.
have got to build a brand new site.
Right.
Now,
Yep.
the only other site that it's presently at,
What's that?
In Toston,
yeah, the Toston site,
Yes.
and how many acres is that?
Not even an acre. Well, it is
It's maybe two
two.
at best.
Yeah.
Can we rent that piece of land over by the, maybe instead of buying it?
Kind
Then
of
you got-
defeating our purpose.
Yep.
though.
yep,
Yeah.
Would we
your
be?
perpetual,
And still you gotta build.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah, we need to do a couple of those.
It's, the construction costs aren't great. You're basically looking at two concrete walls and us hauling the fill in
Right.
And a
to
fence,
to make the,
whatever.
Yeah,
I
I-
was thinking the convenience would,
we don't,
Agree.
with the permanent lids on these cans, we don't have a lot of garbage escape. That's why we have lids. You go to other places that don't have lids, and they have to be contained. We don't have stuff strung up at our fences.
Yeah.
We're that clean, so.
So before we go, I ask Doug and Eric, please send us an email that you will stay on.
Unless you've
Pretty
changed your minds
close.
already.
Well, we didn't
as-
know about all this stuff going
Yeah.
on, so.
If this would have been on the agenda at the ass end like this, well, that'd have been a different story. But now you gave a whole list of problems that we didn't think we had to fix.
Right, we
Now,
thought
Do you
you
know
were
how
just
many-
gonna show up.
How many
and-
problems did we have when we started this?
Too many. That's why. I had
And we're
a full
whittling
head of
them
hair
away.
and it wasn't that great. Now look at me,
Hey,
looking like Kip.
I'm gonna tell
Hey,
you,
I look like Peter Frampton when this started.
I'll gladly get that on, but I
Oh, yeah.
definitely want the
So
recommendation,
then it comes to us.
or not a recommendation.
Interesting.
I want to look into this deal. I thought my little idea tonight.
so I'll give you a little something on that, Doug. Before I was here, a lot of juvenile delinquents, I guess, they would have tickets here. They went to Judge Flynn. Judge Flynn had them doing community service. They would pick up the sites. The trouble with that is you kind of got to watch them.
yep,
So-
and liability.
There's
Now,
a-
now I walk up and down Indian Creek and pick up the garbage, so I'm hoping I'm gaining credits for any future indiscretions by doing community service, but
This'll work.
I agree. There's a lot of bugs
No.
to work out.
Just the
But-
liability of it would be,
Yeah.
Liability's liability. You can get insurance for liability. You're a private guy. You already know. What I'm getting at is, it's worth just looking into.
Absolutely.
Because if you got 200, say 100 people that don't want to pay their assessment and would volunteer a week, why wouldn't we let that happen? Be done with it.
it would have to be something purely on that clawback money, because we can't start giving away our assessments going into the future. We don't have the money for that.
Right. But
I think we would have to have,
do the math on the employee, part-time employee.
yeah, we would have to have cameras everywhere if we did something like this to know if they were actually, I'm not going to go down and babysit them. Knowing
Kip
that the assessment, KIF will,
do you see
knowing that
little
the
I have
assessment
left?
sticker is there.
I don't know. Just something. Especially for the assessments. At least we can get the rest of the year paid.
I got a better idea. Next meeting's at December 9th at 6 o'clock. This meeting is adjourned. And you and TJ can discuss that in Vegas.
There you
right.
go, there you go.
Thank you.
Yes.